the most complex players in league history. I mean, you never know what he's going to do. You never know what route he's going to take. And just when you think, okay, like I have him figured out, boom, he makes a sharp left, and you're like, whoa. So, with that being in mind, you imagine Kyrie Irving is going to do what he thinks or feels he wants to do and what is best. And in many ways, that's very freeing, right? You know, Kyrie doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care about the fame. He doesn't care about anything. The only thing he cares about is like, do I want to do this? Yes or no? Okay, let me do it. Right? And it looks like his time with the Brooklyn Nets may be coming to an end. Whether that actually happens or not is neither here nor there. We'll see what develops this offseason. But we've heard things like Sean Marks going over to the Lakers and talking about a potential trade. It just seems like the organization is done with him. They didn't extend him a long-term contract. There's a lot of concern there, which makes sense. He's kind of inconsistent as of late, especially, and just, you know, they don't feel like they can rely on him. So if he does leave, the big rumor, right, is that he's going to the Lakers to team up with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And they would create this big three in LA that, in my opinion, would be the best big three and the best team on paper. I mean, with these three, if they're healthy, you're talking the best team, I think, in the league. I think this is a legit contender. I think all three of them fit each other beautifully. I think you do need to go and round out, you know, two like defensive guys. But I mean, these three together are more than enough scoring. And health-wise, you got so many mismatches. I mean, no one can really guard LeBron. No one can really guard Kyrie. And you have Anthony Davis, who might be the biggest mismatch there is right now in the NBA when he's, you know, on and when he's healthy and he buys in. And that would be the biggest question. Whether they are successful or not, I think comes down to health. And do they all buy in? Does Kyrie buy in as a player? But the issue is, how do they get Kyrie Irving? Because they can't do a sign and trade, right? A sign and trade wouldn't work because then the Lakers are hard capped and you basically have all your money tied up to these three and you have to fill out the rest of your roster, which makes it very, very difficult. It makes it very hard. And so I don't see a sign and trade happening. We've talked about potentially, you know, a third team getting involved so that way you can kind of, you know, allocate and switch things around to make it fit. And then boom, there you go. Now you got the Kyrie Irving trade, but without a direct sign and trade. So, you know, now you've alleviated the cap space and it works out. Now you're not hard capped. And that's the big goal, is how to not get hard capped. But there's another route that could happen for Kyrie Irving. Now, before I dive into it, I just want to say, like, I don't think this would happen. I'm pretty confident that it's like 99% sure that it wouldn't happen. But again, we have seen crazier things from Kyrie Irving, and we have seen more, you know, decision making that just is like, I can't believe he did that. Just to prove a point, just to show I don't care. And that point primarily comes down to the relationship he has with LeBron James, right? They have really spoken highly of each other lately. Kyrie's talked about his regrets. LeBron's talked about his regrets. And I think that these two could have very likely won another championship if they remained together. But then Kyrie ends up going to Boston. LeBron ends up eventually going to the Lakers. And it's this thing, right? And so I think that regret could be enough to entice Kyrie to come back, especially if the Lakers give him a long-term deal. I really believe the pool for which Kyrie Irving teams would want him isn't that big. You know, I think there's a lot of teams that already have their point guard, already have their guy. Other teams, do they really want him and his inconsistencies and his headaches and his, you know, injury history, stuff like that? I think that there are only like a handful of teams that he could really go to that would commit to him long term. You know, maybe a team would take him on for a year or something like that. You know, if he opts in, you do the sign and trade. I'm sure that there are several teams that are like, hey, let's see if the Kyrie experience works. And then if it doesn't, then we ship him out. But in reality, I think it's very limited. So what if Kyrie Irving was to opt out, right? He opts out, and then he just goes to the Lakers on their taxpayer mid-level, which would be, you know, $6 million. And now look, I get it. $36 million and $6 million are night and day huge. I understand that Kyrie Irving has lost his Nike deal and all of that stuff. But Kyrie Irving has shown in the past he doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care about anything. He just wants to prove a point and be excited and be happy. Like, whatever his belief systems are. And I just don't think you can completely rule out Kyrie Irving doing something this extreme. I could see Kyrie Irving being so like, okay, I'm going to show all of you, watch. Okay, really, Brooklyn? Okay, watch. And then he goes, signs with his good old buddy LeBron for the taxpayer mid-level. They now are able to trade Westbrook to go get some quality pieces around him, and you can develop this like ridiculous super team. Because, okay, another great example. So I did a video. I'll even link this video down in the description below. Go check it out after this video. But the Hornets trade that is supposedly on the table now would be Westbrook for Rozier and Hayward. Now, imagine if Kyrie signed for the mid-level, right? You get him locked in, and then you go get Rozier and you go get Hayward. I mean, you could even trade THT and Nunn because Rozier is essentially a Kendrick Nunn-esque player, and then you could go get like, another Wayne or something like that, and you still have Johnson, you still have all these. I mean, you would be in such a great position. You have your big three, right? You could have them locked in, and then you could sign them long term, or you could keep Westbrook and get some, free agents or whatever. There would be so many options. There'd be so many opportunities, and so I could see Kyrie Irving doing something like that. Again, like I said, I think it is an absolute long shot. I think it absolutely is not going to happen because I think, $30 million is still $30 million, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if it happened. Like, I'd be like, wow, he really did that. But I wouldn't be like, I can't believe Kyrie Irving just signed for $6 million. Like, I could see others doing that, but we have seen enough from Kyrie Irving over time to see, like, okay, this is Kyrie. This is a Kyrie Irving move here. Kyrie does this very thing. And for the opportunity to go and play with the Lakers, he looked up and idolized Kobe, right? Him and Kobe had a great relationship. Him and LeBron James have a great relationship. You have that bond. You have that connection. You have those ties. The Lakers want you, right? Because the Lakers, that's what they do. You go get the big name. Let's go get the big name. And there's not very many big names bigger than Kyrie Irving. And his offensive skill set, everything like that, it would be that sort of revenge tour. LeBron, Anthony Davis didn't even make the playoffs. You go get Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook. You could either trade them, you could try to keep them. Maybe you keep them and see if like the four of them can work. If not, then you release him, and then you free up the cap space. There are so many ways that they could go. And I just want to stress, I don't think this would happen, but it is a possibility that is worth exploring. It is a possibility that out of any superstar in history, Kyrie Irving's the guy to do that. Like, Kyrie is a guy that would say, I'm going to take this $6 million just to play with the Lakers. They'll extend me, and I'll get a bigger contract the following season. And I'm just going to show everybody how great I really am, and how the Brooklyn Nets and everyone really messed up. And then if the Lakers win a championship, my God. I'm not saying they would. Even with Kyrie, I'm not saying they would. I do think that they are arguably, again, the best team in the league, at least on paper. We'll see how it all plays out. But let's say they do win a championship, because you can't say LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie are not a legit contender. So if those three do win a championship, I mean, it's now you just solidified everything and all your points and the reasons why you did what you just did. Like, you just got another ring. Everybody's going to be talking, wow, the Brooklyn Nets really messed up. This could have been Brooklyn. Kevin Durant could have gotten his reign. All that. I mean, we know what the conversations would be. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think about Kyrie Irving potentially signing for a mid-level exception? It'd be the taxpayers, so you're looking at, like I said, roughly $6 million. I just don't think you can rule out Kyrie Irving. I just think Kyrie Irving is that guy that would do something like that. That just, we're all just like, what in the, you opted out to go get $6 million? Like, what? Like, I could see him doing that just to go play with LeBron, just get to the Lakers, just get to the team that he wants to get to, and then they can sign him long-term on a max contract. I could see that happening. I could see him saying, like, I don't want to play for any of these teams. I might as well just go to the Lakers. They're not going to be able to trade for me, so let me just sign the mid-level exception. Like, I could see that being a real possibility. But again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.